up, please?
Good evening and welcome to VideOH. Oh no! I am B-Movie Bob, and tonight we're going to be watching a classic from 1983 called Young Warriors. I remember Young Warriors from 2004 when my band used to watch it every day after practice. I remember thinking it was so funny and fun to watch, and we always used to have a ball watching it anyway. So we're going to watch it again. I was so excited to find it. I finally dug it up on VHS and we pulled it out, and it wasn't as good as I remembered. So let's check it out. We're going to do the review, and you be the judge. The young warriors, they're riding through the city. The young warriors. Young Warriors was released on August 28, 1983 under the title The Graduates of Malibu High. The film was only released under the name Young Warriors in Great Britain, where it went straight to video and never made it to any theaters. On its opening weekend in the United States, it made $93,021, and its gross earnings in the United States total were $238,534. Even in 1983, that was fucking abysmal. I did the math just to see what it was equal to by today's standards, and after adjusting for inflation, it came out to fucking abysmal. The movie goes like this. Kevin Garrigan and all his friends graduate from high school and go off to college. They run a frat house and have all these crazy parties, and life is nothing but dick jokes and fondling women. But the good times come to an end when Kevin's sister is brutally raped and murdered by a bunch of dudes in the A-Team van. When the law fails to act on this travesty, the frat house takes the law into their own hands. I think the best way to describe Young Warriors would be if Animal House and Death Wish had a child that was on the spectrum. The characters are so hard to follow. It wasn't until 43 minutes into the movie we found out the leader's name was Scott. But then after an hour and 35 minutes, we figured out his actual name was Kevin. All the Young Warriors look the same. They're not even young. They're no younger than 30. Kevin's little sister Tiffany says she's dating a senior. Senior what? Senior citizen? Look at this fucking guy. Looks like she'd be selling certified used Hondas. Not taking fucking high school girls to prom in his 280Z. All the Young Warriors look the same. They all have one-syllable names. They all have the same haircut. They all look like Ray Bork. The only difference is no one here is a legend.
Comes to Middleton with a shot. Big save. Rebound. They score.
But that's not to say that this movie's void of legends. 11 minutes in, the real heroes show up. Richard Roundtree and Ernest Borgnine. They're introduced with one of the greatest cinematic entrances of the 1980s.
You don't eat meat.
I masturbate a lot.
Okay, I think...
Oh, shit, that was the wrong clip. Are they in a bar fight? No. Are they in a wild car chase? No. Are they killing outlaws? No! They're eating dinner at Kevin's house with his little sister. Or is that his mother? Everyone's middle-aged. It's so hard to tell. Known best for his role as John Shaft, by the early 1980s, Richard Roundtree wasn't doing his best work. A lot of TV stuff. Love Boat, Chips, Masquerade, you know the drill. He also acted in plenty of bogus action flicks, just like this one. I'll say that I'm not surprised to see Ernest Borgnine in this movie. This guy, don't get me wrong, I like McHale's Navy just as much as the next guy, but this guy took every sewage ejector of a movie to come along. I mean, he was... And he didn't have to. He could get good work. He was in one of the most popular TV shows in the 1960s, but then he took roles in movies like Merlin's Shop and Mystical Wonders and Holiday Hookers and Young Warriors. I wish I could ask him why, but unfortunately he's passed on now, and let's get back to the film. Kevin has a girlfriend that shows up halfway through the movie at his sister's funeral, and her name is Ginger or Lucy or something. It might even be Heather. I heard that name getting thrown around. The bad guys are ambiguous too. The only one you ever see clearly is the leader, who looks like a cross between Seth Rogen and Gigi Allen.
Well, my body is the rock and roll temple, and my flesh, blood, and body fluids are a communion to the people.
The movie only does the Animal House thing for the first 15 minutes. It doesn't do a very good job of it. It's like the Walmart brand of Animal House. It's the typical shit, you know. They got a dog at the frat house and it wears sunglasses and a hat, and they got a costume party with some shit kicker band. And, you know, they got the frat pledges throwing bricks out the window with the dicks tied to it and shit. But this is when the most talented guy in the movie shows up. Can you do that?
Got it! Oh, hey, go Don't stain that olive.
Didn't think so. The fact that this movie starts out so fucking stupid makes the rape scene with his sister seem that much more outrageous. She's driving home from prom with Grandpa when the evil A-team shows up and sends him crashing off the road. Grandpa dies and Kevin's sister crawls out of the wreck onto what looks like the lunar landscape from 2001: A Space Odyssey. All the while, Kevin and his dipshit friends are acting like fucking assholes. Gigi Allen rapes Kevin's sister and the scene is pretty graphic. The movie takes a turn from uninteresting to vile and immediately back to uninteresting. Kevin's sister dies at the hospital and you're supposed to feel the same pain that the characters are. But you don't, because chances are you didn't catch her name. Hell, if you blinked, you might have missed the entire scene where they introduced her. Kevin and his friends go back to the lunar surface and find a matchbook with the bar's name on it. I bet you can't guess what the gang does next. The bar is about the size of a closet inside, and the guy playing pool barely has enough room to make the shot. The bar isn't threatening at all, it's just boring. Hell, they had to throw in an awkward knife fight just to make the place look dangerous. And tell me this isn't a weird line.
Hey man, you guys gonna spend any money? This ain't no restroom.
So Kevin tells the bartender if he sees the guy in the black van to call him. Just so happens Gigi's sitting right next to him at the fucking bar. He crumbles up the piece of paper and throws it in an ashtray. It's around this point that the movie decides it wants to be Death Wish. The gang decides that finding and killing Gigi Allen isn't enough. And it might be pretty rad to start fighting crime.
Look, we all agreed we're gonna go out prowling around looking for Tiffany's murderers anyway, right? So why don't we look for other crime and try to stop it?
One of the pussies in the gang disagrees, but they all tell him to shut the fuck up, and he folds like a deck of cards. Fucking chicken shit. Their first victims are these poor bastards that are shit out of luck on the side of the road. Looks to me like they're changing a tire, but hey, fuck it. That's a good enough reason for the young warriors to just kick the shit out of somebody, right? The Fuzz show up and take the boys downtown for what today will probably be a hate crime. Oh, and guess who's at the fucking police station? It's Shaft and the commander of PT-73. They give Kevin and his friends a stern talking to, but do you think that's gonna fucking stop them? They save some old dude that looks like the security guy from Hobgoblins.
Stop whatever you're doing!
Maybe we'll get to this gem in another episode. After they kill all the bad guys, they steal the guns and hide them in their dorm room. Looks like they scored a shotgun, couple of AR-15s, and what the fuck is that, a Ruger 1022? Yeah, it's a good idea, dumbass. Look down the barrel. Doesn't take long before one of the boys' bimbo girlfriends finds Fort Sumter hidden in the closet. Oh, alright, that's Scott. Looks a lot like Kevin. All the while, Kevin is still attending school where he takes out his frustration on professors and peers with differing opinions. Look at this night court looking motherfucker. He also makes bogus animated movies with musical scores that sound like Metal Machine music composed on MIDI. He becomes more and more isolated, eventually breaks up with his girlfriend. God damn, that's a cold way to break it off. Poor Heather or Lucy or Ginger. And the crime fighting continues. They get more and more weapons. Meanwhile, Commander McHale and Shaft are actually trying to get something done involved with the fucking case. Jesus Christ, we're really on a roll with this whole Death Wish thing. They stop a robbery and kill a burglar, but shit really hits the fan when they find out the burglar is just a little girl armed with a toy gun. Done fucked up now. The gang is busted up about the whole thing, and Kevin does what any logical person would do in this scenario. He scores a hooker. Meanwhile, as Kevin extracts AIDS from a prostitute, his ex-girlfriend is ratting him out to his folks. I've never seen Ernest Borgnine move so fast. Kevin's boys spot the A-team pulling up to the bar. He's still rolling around with a slam pig in the motel. Someone must have banged on the door and told him to hurry up, because when they bust in the bar, Kevin is right there ready to fuck someone's shit up. So here we go. It's the big final fight of the movie. What do you think's gonna happen? It's gonna be wild. It's gonna be fucking crazy. Very theatrical, right? No, it's poorly lit and boring just like the rest of the film. One thing that's fucking cool though is the slow-mo. Look at this shit. It looks like fucking Cross of Iron, 1977. Did Sam Peckinpah direct this? Nope. Guess again. Not Sam Peckinpah, but the famous Lawrence David Folds, winner of the Big Bear Lake International Film Fest. Mastermind behind theatrical epics like Don't Go Near the Park, Night Force, and of course, The Great Skycopter Rescue. I should have known. So the shootout continues, and it's not very exciting. A lot of people get fucked up, and they blow up the A-team van. That's one good thing about this movie. They blow a lot of shit up, and they break a lot of shit. Now we're gonna cut to some shit blowing up. end up back at the frat house, and the jig is up, and they know it. And Kevin ends up blowing up the whole fucking house with one grenade, which is pretty impressive. And that's the end of the movie, thank God. So these are the graduates of Malibu High. In conclusion, what can we say about Young Warriors? Well, it's too long, it's poorly lit, so I can never see what the fuck's going on, and no one's ever been introduced, so I don't know who I'm looking at, even when I can fucking see them. So, we gotta rate this movie, right? Well, how are we gonna rate it? I'm gonna give this movie one stinky, smelly asshole. Just like that one, right? Dave, you remember that from earlier, don't you? Yeah. You still can't do that. You'll be practicing all week. Anyway, don't watch this movie. It's a waste of time. And tune in next week for this fine film.